Like, can you give me like an update on like recent developments in like, I guess, the growth of the scene?
The growth of the scene in the United States, the growth of the scene in Austin, like, which do you want to know?
In general, like, just aiming at like, talking to somebody who has no idea about like fighting games, talking about like Street Fighter 4 coming out and like kind of revamping the scene and kind of maybe like sparking new life into it.
Yeah, for sure. Try the other door. That one's not gonna work. Try the other one. Go to the left. Okay, they figured it out. I'm sorry, what was the question? I'm easily distracted.
Like, yeah, and
Street Fighter 4 and the growth of the scene.
Right.
So, in the United States, of course, Street Fighter, like, in general, like, as a general, like, water cooler discussion, like, which character to use, like, there was none of that before Street Fighter 4, right? So, of course, Street Fighter 4 came out. We had the arcade version when it was brand new. We got it with the grand opening of Arcade UFO, and it was hugely popular. I mean, people that I hadn't seen at the arcade in like, since I was a freshman in college, like, were there to play Street Fighter 4. So I already knew it was going to be big before the console version came out.
Yeah.
The first like 2 or 3 weeks we were open, there was always people playing. So we thought, like Street Fighter 4 is cool, like it's going to be really popular. And actually, I hadn't made my opinion about the game yet. I played it for the first time in Japan because I was there for SBO, and then I came back, and then my copy was waiting for me in the mail.
Nice.
So, after I set it up and installed it, I played it pretty hardcore for the first month or so, and then I sort of took like a 2 to 3 month break because I wasn't sure what I thought about the game. And then Akuma got unlocked, and I started messing with him, and I was like, this character's fun. So then I started playing more seriously, back like maybe around December or so. But yeah, as far as like the scene, obviously Street Fighter 4 has been fantastic for the scene, both for the arcade and console crowds. Since the console version came out, like there was actually more interest at the arcade for the game. After the console version is out. So, it's sort of been like reciprocal, and obviously, like Evo was the biggest this year ever. Obviously, I don't remember how many thousands of people were watching the stream.
Yeah.
So, as far as like a common thing for people to enjoy, Street Fighter 4 has definitely made a step in the right direction for that in the United States. In Japan, it's always been it's the same as it was before in Japan. It's only in America that Street Fighter 4 was really like, or I guess in Western civilization, where SF4 really got people in general interested in fighting games again as a genre.
I'm trying to think of where to take this. Like, I want to know about like, how do you see like maybe like because of the fact that we have upgraded like SF4 was kind of like the first step in saying you can take this classic gaming style and make like a new
good game out of it.
Like a newer version that's still using that kind of physics and that kind of competition and stuff. And it's kind of like I feel like it might be like taking things to a level where it's going to continue and maybe like evolve or like grow more like.
Well, allow me to assert my opinion here.
Yeah, please do.
The fighting game genre. The fighting game genre has always been doing that. Like they've always been innovating and adding new elements to games to make them more fun or more balanced or more fun and less balanced or so there's been all kinds of fighting games for the past 15 years. They've been evolving like through the Alpha series and Darkstalkers and all the games that came out. I mean, not just Capcom games either, like Guilty Gear. Really innovated the fighting game scene from then until now. And now there's this whole other style of fighting game that we can play, Arc Systems games. I think you'd be silly to blow that off for just play Capcom games, but because they're both really excellent games. But that having been said, the only difference that Street Fighter 4 brought to the table was marketing.
That's what I was getting at, I guess.
Yeah.
It's like the idea that now there's going to be, I don't know, people say things like, get it on ESPN, and it might get to that point because, like, Major League Gaming level
and
stuff,
I certainly hope it does. but that would be a result of proper marketing and influence in the community and the right people noticing, right? So there's always been Street Fighter tournaments going on for the past 10 years. Why was it never televised? Well, it's because the Cannons and Wizard were running a fan-based event, and they were focused on making a quality event for the hardcore people that came every year, not on getting ESPN2 to notice or whatever, right? And I don't want to put words in their mouth or anything, so I won't go into it too far. And I'm sure they tried to get media attention. Of course, they did very well in getting sponsors and stuff throughout the years. But Street Fighter really still needs like a more business-oriented people to look at it for it to grow in that way. Like, if we want Street Fighter in the United States or Street Fighter 4 or fighting games to be like StarCraft is in Korea, for example, it's not going to happen unless some business guys pick it up, right? That's why it's great that we have these guys like Get Your Tournament and I don't know all the groups, but all the groups that have shown up just out of nowhere, like since Street Fighter 4 got pretty big. It's really good that these groups are into this because they're giving even more exposure to the game for the even much bigger companies. They might take notice and say, hey, why haven't we been doing this already? So the coverage Street Fighter is getting now is already leagues better than what it was before. So now it's just a matter of either A, can someone who's doing stuff now make it big? Like, is there anyone business-minded enough to do that? Or, B, is a bigger company going to notice it and realize, hey, we should have done this a long time ago?
Okay, well, let's take it down a scale. Like, do you think that, I'm not trying to get at like Street Fighter or Capcom or anything specific, but just like the current level of things and I feel like there's a lot of hype right now. Do you think that that's securing like a long-standing scene in Austin?
In Austin? Well, Street Fighter in particular?
No, just I guess the hype that Street Fighter has produced, basically.
The hype that Street Fighter has produced has, brought a lot of people to the arcade, which I've been very fortunate for. And as far as it goes in Austin, I would say that the scene we have is definitely bigger than Einstein's scene was for the last several years that it was open. The main reason being that Einstein's didn't really get new games. We pretty much played just Third Strike there until the end. And they got Guilty Gear Accent Core and stuff, so they kept up with the Guilty Gear series.
Yeah.
And we played that there too, but the scene was never huge for it. So, I guess it's really nice that Street Fighter 4 sort of brought so many different people in. And Austin is doing much better now. I don't know if it's going to be I don't want to predict the future and say it's going to be sustained this huge scene, forever. But it's not going to go away. So if anything, the thing that happened with the Street Fighter 2 series, right, was that as far as game sales went, console game sales, Super NES and stuff, a lot of customers felt like it was unfair that they had to pay, full premium price for every update iteration of the game. And so, each iteration that came out had less people buying it.
Right.
Until it sort of came this joke, right? So, as long as the same thing doesn't happen to Street Fighter 4, as long as they market it correctly and make people feel hey, this is fair, I think it'll be still really big. And that's what Capcom is being very careful to do right now. That's why they're saying, okay, we realize this is, a year after the game came out, we're releasing an update. But here it is for $40. That's the price, by the way. Super Street Fighter 4. It's $39.99. It was announced yesterday, so that's cool. So yeah, that's good, right? So ideally, enough people will realize that hey, it is a new game. Capcom worked hard on it. They deserve money, etc.
All right. Well, let's change the subject. See if I can't get any other I have a whole bunch of different stuff to hit on. It's just ideas,
Sure.
So, let's see.